democracy in this country are dealt with. It's absolutely absurd. I have not spoken to a single Hillary supporter in a year that can tell me why she's voting for Hillary or why he's voting for Hillary. They start out with saying, well, we can't afford to have Trump as president. I go, I know that, I agree. Now tell me why you're voting for Hillary. And they say, well, we can't afford Trump. And I say, hey, that's not what I asked you. I'm not asking you what you're voting against. I'm asking you what you're voting for. Crickets. Crickets. It's a politics of fear. It's a politics of lesser evilism. And all that has gotten us is everything we've been fighting. Glass-Steagall, repeal it, bang, the 2008 meltdown. Perpetual war, bang, we got that too. Environmental destruction, bang, we got that too. Let's reject the politics of fear, start voting our values, start voting for what we believe in, start voting for what we believe for, and stop succumbing to the two-party lie, because that's how they do it. They keep us divided, pointing the fingers at each other and say, oh, you don't want the other guy, so vote for this one. It doesn't work, folks. Let's start voting for what we believe in.
Because as soon as you speak outside the boundaries, as soon as you say things that are different than what the establishment is telling you to say, what the newspapers, what the media, what everybody, including leading intellectuals, are telling you to say, you know, as soon as you do that, the question of your patriotism arises. And Mark Twain said about patriotism and about loyalty, because people asked him, why aren't you loyal? He said, my kind of loyalty was loyalty to one's country, not to its institutions or its office holders. The country is the real thing, the substantial thing, the eternal thing. It is the thing to watch over and care for and be loyal to. Its institutions are extraneous. They are its mere clothing, and clothing can wear out, become ragged, cease to be comfortable, cease to protect the body from winter, disease, and death. To be loyal to rags, to shout for rags, to worship rags, to die for rags, that is a loyalty of unreason. This is important because in the present discussion, boundaries have been set. Lines have been drawn, and people who go outside those boundaries and who dare to criticize official policy are called unpatriotic, and disloyal. When they say that, when they accuse dissenters of that, they have forgotten the meaning of loyalty and the meaning of patriotism. Yeah. Patriotism does not mean support for your government. Patriotism means support for your country, as Mark Twain said. Or as Emma Goldman said, well, roughly around the same time. Emma Goldman, the feminist anarchist, said, she gave a lecture on patriotism, and she said, I love the country, but I don't love the government. And to criticize the government when you think the government is wrong is the highest act of patriotism. And when somebody accuses you, I don't know if you will all face that situation, but if somebody accuses you of not being patriotic because you don't go along with whatever the government is doing, I think you ought to remind them about the Declaration of Independence. And that according to the Declaration of Independence, and everybody praises the Declaration of Independence when it's hung up on a classroom wall, but not when people read it and understand it. During the Vietnam War, a soldier was disciplined for putting up the Declaration of Independence on his barracks wall. But the Declaration of Independence says that governments are artificial creations. They're set up by people, by the people of the country. Governments are set up by the people of the country to achieve certain things, certain objectives. The equality of all people in their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So, governments are artificial creations set up for those purposes, and when a government becomes destructive of those ends, as the Declaration said, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. That's serious. But that is democratic doctrine. That is the idea of democracy. And therefore, there are times when it becomes absolutely patriotic to point a finger at the government and say the government is not doing what it should be doing to safeguard the right of people to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I don't think it would be wrong in our time, with everybody talking, oh, this is one world, globalization, yes, the world has shrunk, we're all part of the same planet. I mean, they talk that way, but do they mean it? You know. You could test out whether they mean it by suggesting that the words of the Declaration of Independence, the right to life, liberty, and property, apply not only to people in this country, but to people in other countries, to people everywhere. People everywhere in the world have the same right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so when the government becomes destructive of that, well, then it is patriotic to criticize, to oppose the government, to become a dissenter, to do what we always praised when it was done in other countries, in totalitarian countries, and we looked upon the dissenters and the critics of those governments as heroes for daring to speak out.